Hello and welcome to this addendum to the previous video, I think, to the previous live stream where we were talking about contours and things like that. I just assumed that people knew about how to directly import into SketchUp from like Google Earth and things like that. So just going through that now, there's a particular tool called Add Location in the more recent versions. I think after Google bought things, so that was about what 8 years, no, 2008 or so, which is 8 years back. But since then, there's been this particular tool available within SketchUp, which is literally just add location or add Google Map or something like that. The newer version is just called add location. Here, okay, this is because I searched for it earlier, but okay, let's choose a different site. Let's say Ooty somewhere. Okay, so this is all of Ooty. Let's choose our site here. Okay, select. Okay, by the way, this bounding box in white is the area that you can choose. What's this? When you zoom out, as in obviously it becomes bigger, but you can't zoom in too much because that much detail doesn't exist, right? So you choose an area with the surrounding places and things like that. Approximately keep your site in the center. Oh, by the way, I'm assuming this is my site right next to the lake. So select region. It gives you this box which you can move up and as in and out, but I'm going to keep it at maximum. I say grab, takes a couple of seconds, and then you have this. Okay, so this is within SketchUp itself. This is a locked thing, so if I right click and say unlock, right, it's a flat, basically a plane with this image on it. But there's another particular button called toggle terrain, right? Click that. Ta-da! It's in 3D. So my entire site is in 3D with the lake. Obviously the lower parts, as in, so now I know that this particular site is actually a hill and has a what's this, and it connects like this. It has as in the lake on three sides of this hill and things like that. So yeah, this is the most simple version of getting a 3D thing. The problems with this is that the resolution isn't too high, and when I say resolution, I don't mean the image resolution. We can actually just turn that off. Turn on hidden geometry. So yeah, so this is our site again, right? The problem is how Google works, how Google gets these elevations. Is it takes a distance of something like 75 meters or something, which is yeah this much, right? So as of now, it's supposedly taken height calculations at every one of these boxes, and it's all the center is literally just an interpolated version of this. So it's a triangle which is a flat unlock. So there's a triangle, there's a plane. So within this thing, there is no resolution, there is no detail that what's this Google SketchUp or basically Google Maps is adding. It doesn't have that information. But ignoring that for a second, I'll just show you what is possible or how you work out the contours. So just to define contours, a contour is a line that joins all the same elevations in a particular drawing. So in this thing, a contour should be drawn around the top because as in that's approximately all same elevation. It could possibly arc around these things and those as in, so it kind of goes around in circles but connecting all the places with the same height. So the way we do that is again very simple. A rectangle tool, create a massive rectangle, doesn't matter. Make sure it goes across the full thing. All right, I'm triple clicking it so it selects everything. G or yeah, G to create a component, create, and then I just move this thing vertically. Okay, so I look for the blue axis, move that all the way down just so it's below my contours, below my site itself, assuming I was to raise it up. So you see that it's almost just touching, but to get it absolutely right, I know that that area is the lowest, so I just click there. So now what's this? This is kind of the zero contour, so to speak. right? So this is a plane, a flat horizontal plane, and the site is kind of floating above it. I click, move this higher, go move to the highest point here, which is it in this particular thing it says 115. So that's 115 meters above this point. So let's just take it to 120. So I'm back on the blue axis, 120, enter, divide sign or forward slash, and I want a contour at say every 2 meters. So that's 120 divided by 2, which is 60. So divide by 60, enter. Alright. What this does is it basically fills in the gap between the first and the last one with these many of them. Just to check if my math is correct. Yeah, so that is 2 meters apart, each one. Right? So now all we need to do is what we did last time, uh, intersect faces with the model, and we wait for a bit. This is going to take a while, mostly because it's a big site. I think, oh, not too bad, I have a fast computer. So now all I have to do is select all these flat planes, right click, hide, take off in geometry so now that is seen, and there you go, contours on your site. And the point of this contour is literally that this one is marking all the elevations at that line, so all that is the same elevation, and the next one and the next one, so this is the highest point and so on. Obviously the lake is the lowest point, so this would be the lowest thing. So if I was to look at it even from on top and show it only on parallel projection, so you actually look at this only as an image. With this you can kind of identify the higher portions, the lower portions, the places with the slopes, with the mild slopes and the what's it, the very steep slopes. For instance, if we were to compare two sides of this hill, right, we know that this area is a much steeper slope, so this what's this comes up or goes down much faster than this. There's a much milder slope, right? So that's the point of contours. I hope this helped. After this you can obviously export it to whichever software you want and things like that, but for our purposes, generally we have a survey done, and a land survey gives you a much more detailed, specific contour plan, which is why I went through the AutoCAD version of doing it rather than this. This is, the resolution is not too much, which is why all these lines are parallel, right? If I went to OT and actually measured this thing, I would not find parallel lines anywhere. But if you look at this, it's mostly created out of parallel lines. That is a problem with directly importing from Google SketchUp. But I mean from Google Earth and Maps, therefore what's this, into SketchUp. But for our first, as in to immediately start off and things like that, just to get an idea of what the site looks like, feels like, this is more than sufficient. This is actually much more than sufficient. And what's this, once you've gone through this and everything, you start ideating while the people are doing their survey and everything, because that's going to take at least a week or two. And once they finish, they will give you an AutoCAD drawing, which is like what we started with, or basically with the levels and whatever other information that they've added in, from tree locations to other roads and whatever else that they've surveyed. All right. So yeah, so that is what's this, importing a what's this, terrain directly into SketchUp and getting contours out. If you were to look at this in elevation, yeah, all these lines are absolutely horizontal, which is the whole point of a contour, and they are equidistant at 2 meters each. All right. So cool. Thanks.